so not too hard. Number one, crisp. So Ted tried to used it to describe air, which, okay, that's the second meaning. We'll talk about that later. But the meaning here, for our lesson purposes, is usually talking about some image. It fits this lesson perfectly. TVs. A lot of times we're used in TVs. It means if it's crisp, it is very clear and sharp. Good picture, easy to see, crisp. The colors pop out and you can see it well. So it is oftentimes used with some type of image or television. The picture is very clear and crisp. It's used with clear a lot of times, clear and crisp and clear. Now, the word does have other meanings. He used it to describe not the sky, but the air, crisp, cool air. Kind of different meaning, but you can understand the relation. It is very crisp and fresh. So it almost, even with the picture, fresh picture, fresh air, cool, crisp air. It can describe food. There's crispy, but there's also crisp. You know, when you bite into an apple, maybe that is, I think, maybe a good example of something that crisp. The skin is crisp. Crispy is a little different. Crispy is more like potato chip, crunchy, crispy type thing. So it has other uses. But for this lesson, there's talking about the picture is very clear, sharp, crisp. Number two, downside. Pretty easy to understand. It is a negative aspect, a disadvantage. We talk about pros. A downside is obviously the con of any situation or decision. In our lesson, it is talking about the VR. There are some downsides. It tells you about how it can make you dizzy. It tells you about how this one's resolution isn't that as crisp. So there are downsides. It can be used for decision-making purposes in business or something. This example sentence: we don't have to go to work on Friday, but the downside is we have to work on Saturday. So there's a downside, negative aspect. Number three, setback. So this is when there's some change, and it's obviously a negative change. It becomes worse. Your situation changes from good to bad, or not necessarily good to bad, but your setback, your progress is hindered. Your progress is not decreased. Your progress is dampened. So setback is often used in business setting or your project. If you have a project and you experience, it is a lot of times used to experience a setback. To have a setback, to experience a setback. Example sentence here: the company experienced a setback 2 years ago, but thanks to strategic leadership, it was able to recover from the setback. In our lesson, it says, despite those setbacks, and those setbacks are the dizzy thing, and that despite those setbacks, there is lots of potential. If you are working on a project and you experience some setback, it's a roadblock, some problem, but hopefully you are able to persevere and still succeed. And number four, proof of concept. Proof of concept. This one is very specific to this lesson, and especially really used with electronics and products like this. It is when they have a demonstration, a demo, to prove that the product works. It is different from